me see. Okay, let's boost this audio here. Is this not loud enough? Is this better? Speak up. Plug that. Okay, I'll try to enunciate a little more. And let's get some video going. We have this window open. Let's share real quick. And in the meantime, let's have a YouTube playlist playing. Stardew. All right, there we go. So we'll be playing this, and then we'll be doing our quick sharing that we typically do. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. All right, shared it in Discord. Let's see where else we gotta share this. Instagram. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Is this running? What's happening? Okay. Let me see. What else do we need to do? Instagram. I don't know if I should show this meme. Oh my gosh. This meme is not. You see? I don't know. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I should be sharing stuff like this. Edgy. The internet does know how to be edgy. Live. Learning about climate science. Da 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 da. Link. We're getting started. I'm just sharing right now. Let me see if there's something I could do, Giphy. Oh, it's Amnafel season? Da 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 da. Or just keep this looping, I guess. Oh, the music's not playing. There we go. You weren't here in Stardew. No one told me anything. Alright, we're playing Stardew music. Start that over. Now you should hear it. There we go. I changed the sound settings. It's been a while since I streamed. There we go. Hey, how's it going? Yo, Rafisa Mewa, I remember you. Oh, we got an ad break coming in 30 seconds on Twitch, so watch out for that. Feel free to join on wherever you want. This is also streaming on YouTube. But yeah, we're going to be talking about climate science and stuff. I remember you from the Undertale streams, Rafisa. Glad you could join us. Yeah, so cool. Let me give a shout out to... oh, let me get the chat box open again. How's it going, dude? It's good, it's good. Just, we're gonna be doing a little educational science lesson this time. Shout out. I have been pretty good. I've been keeping really busy this summer. I know, like, a lot of people have like summer off for like vacation or whatnot, but I've just been like not streaming this summer, yeah, it's been going pretty well. So fortunately, I haven't been streaming. I've been missing my buddies who I'd see online and stuff, but yeah, oh yeah, let's go do Shameless. My bot's not working. Let's get my bots going too. It's been a long time, so let's get my bots going. What is it? Okay, we got an ad break on Twitch for another 3 minutes, so hope you can join back after we're back from that. Same thing, I tried to get on your streams for the time zones, had other plans. Yeah, it's a shame. For sure. Oh, that's so nice of you, though, that you thought of me. Man, I appreciate that so much. It's nice when people remember you and appreciate your presence and stuff. And I remember you too, so that's really nice of you. So that's cool, man. Or, you know, whatever you might be, whoever you might be. But yeah, that's cool. Let me see. Okay, let's turn this CloudBot on. There we go. The switch is on. Shameless. Okay, great. That's working. I don't even remember my commands. It's been so long. Shameless. Stream. Oh yeah, let's do commands. And let's do Mudita. Means joy at another's joy. Let me see. How am I feeling today? What's my Muppet level? I am 49% Chaos Muppet today. Okay. A little even there. A little even. It's fairly even. It's kind of leaning on slightly on the non-Chaos Muppet side today. That works out for me. Let's see how lucky I am today. 50% luck today too. I don't know if that's good. But equally chaotic, equally orderly Muppet. And yes, please support the crisis in Ukraine as we're using Streamlabs, and please support the crisis in Ukraine. All right. Let's see what else. Did I cover everything that I need to share this on? Yeah, you're right. I was already thinking of going to bed. It's already night, but I saw you turn on the stream. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what time zone you're in and stuff. I should probably get this started soon. Just trying to think of anywhere else I needed to share this. It's only been the first 13 minutes of the stream. Yeah, I mean, I would appreciate it if you stuck around, for sure. But I understand too if you gotta go. I don't really stream during the day as often over here. I'm in New York, and over here it's like the evening right now, just the beginning of the evening. Streaming. Yeah, and it's a bit of a change up since what we were covering last time about from, you know, was it from Undertale and whatnot. So I understand if you gotta go. I'm gonna try and make this like fun and lively and stuff. Let me know if I've like taken it to like 11 or something, because I know this is a tough topic and stuff. I just want this to be nice and light, and just like a fun way to hang out, discuss some things and whatnot. Let's see, did I cover all my bases? Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord. It's pretty much all of them, I guess. Just a random guy from the internet do this? Do you have a New York time zone? I don't know. This is a very small YouTube, Twitch and YouTube channel, so no, I mean, like, you know, I appreciate that though. I appreciate you being considerate. Yeah, I have a New York time zone. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. So let me see. It has been 15 minutes. I think I have covered most of the outlets I need to share stuff on. Can't really remember what else I'm supposed to do right now. I covered most of them. Sure, it's fine. Bill Nye. So yeah, let me see. Let's get started. Let's create a new chat in ChatGPT. Discuss. Let's use this chat to discuss climate change. Okay, so it's giving some overview here. So I like how it does bold now. So basically, here's some stuff. Causes of climate change, global warming, scary. Impacts, what the impacts of that global warming is. Mitigation efforts, adaptation, international agreements, role of individuals, scientific consensus, political and economic challenges. This music's chill. Yeah, I guess we're starting now. So, yeah, shameless self-promo. Follow my stuff online. I'm a game designer and developer showcasing games as an art form while creating kinder and cozier communities in the process. I really got to get that down shorter. And yeah. And mudita means joy and another's joy. Alright, so let's get started. So we're going to discuss climate change. We should start by talking a little bit about this talk I went to. It was by this YouTube channel called Climate Town. Let's turn the volume down on this. Let's turn the house music down. It's by this channel called Climate Town. Oh, it's been so long since you heard a foreign language? Oh, wow. You mean so I guess you're not used to hearing English, I guess, on, that's interesting. I guess you're from like a different region or something. That's cool. Let me see if I can find a trailer for this YouTube channel. I guess not. So I think this one is a good starting point. But yeah, feel free to use this channel to practice your English and stuff. Yeah, that's fair enough if you'd like to use it for that. And yeah, that's one of the cool things about YouTube and Twitch is that you can connect with people in this kind of way all over the world. Like my brother is a huge, like, not in terms of like necessarily amount of people, but like just in terms of like how often he does it. But I don't know, he has a lot of connections with different people he streams with and sees their streams and stuff, and he meets a lot of people that way and whatnot. And yeah, so that's cool. Oh, cool. You're from Russia. Okay, cool, man. I mean, yeah, I appreciate you hanging out. Hopefully you get to we get to appreciate each other's presence and stuff like that. It's I know it's kind of crazy around that part of the world right now in some ways, but yeah, I'm glad you could hang out here, and hopefully you can get something out of this. Yeah, it's kind of like a cloudy day in New York. It's like 5 p.m. or so. 5 p.m. is like 17 o'clock or whatever. And yeah, it's I don't know. It's like 90-degree weather lately this past week. Yeah, and yeah, maybe I could even show a video about like what like New York is like or something. But yeah, anyway, if we're discussing climate change facts, let's check out this video by Climate Town. I'm a big fan of this series. I actually watched them live performance recently. in New York City, even. I guess he mentioned that he studied at Columbia University, and yeah, he's like does this huge channel now where he keeps trying to grow and grow and grow, and like discuss more climate issues and stuff. So, okay, you study PM and AM at school. Oh, that's great, cool. I don't really see. I can't be too sure. I always never really know like what's going on in different parts of the world. That's how ignorant I am as an American. But yeah, I do my best. All right, so let's check out this video. Just like a warm-up climate video. This is like 2 minutes of fact-checkable climate change facts for skeptics. All right, let's check this out.
See what people are saying about climate change on the good old internet.
Always been changing. It is a liberal hoax to take my truck away.
Cool. Hi, I'm Raleigh Williams, climate science grad student, and the guy who's got to get that laptop after this. Damn it. A lot of people have been lied to about climate change, and it's hard to tell what's real. But if you give me 2 minutes of your time, I can give you some extremely fact-checkable evidence that might help convince you that climate change is happening. Welcome to Climate Town. Okay, number one, every oil, coal, and gas company has admitted that climate change is real and humans are causing it. All of them. All of them. Now, they have super good lawyers, so they probably won't face any consequences for their actions, but after years of loudly denying climate change, they have finally all quietly accepted the blame. And you don't have to take my word for this. Just Google climate change and then the name of any oil company and go buck wild on their corporate website.
Okay, so let's even do that right now since we're making this a stream, we're making it interactive. Let's go look at BP or something. BP climate change. Let's do that right now. Getting to net zero. Let's see. And I use DuckDuckGo. We've set 5 aims to get BP to net zero by 2050 or sooner, and 5 aims to help the world get there too. So they have all those aims. Better and balanced energy system for all. Helping greening companies decarbonize. Sounds good at first. There's little wrinkles to like these big companies trying to get to net zero. It does get a little bit more complicated than that. I think we'll get around to let me see. So let's see how they're doing this. So 50% in scope 1, blah 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 blah. Oil and gas production, carbon intensity, transition growth. Something to look up next would be something like carbon offsets. So yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can find another. Oh, they even have a John Oliver about this. Here's Bloomberg Originals. Let's add this to the queue. When our planet is almost dying, companies are becoming more eco-friendly to pretend everything will be fine. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of built into the system. They have to make money. They have to make money for shareholders. They have to make money to stay on the board and stuff like that. And there has to be like a lot of systemic things that change in order for that to work. But I don't know if there's enough, you know, people rabble rousing about like, hey, I'm not going to use your products anymore and stuff like that. That can start to happen, but it has to like happen in small bits and pieces and stuff. I mean, if none of us used cars someday or whatever, and we just didn't need to use as much gas and oil, you know, that would be something. But yeah, that would, I don't know, if you could snap your fingers and make that happen, like that'd be really something. But I know it's tricky.
Here are the climate change is real sections of BP. Exxon.
Just wait.
Goose in the shot?
Yep.
Hey man, can you grab that laptop? Number two, All of America's insurance companies and economist groups agree that climate change is slowly taking a baseball bat to the balls of the American economy. All of them. Conservative, liberal, young, old.
I'm gonna play more Stardew and chill because this is kind of stressful. Okay, hopefully that can be heard a little bit.
Dracula. They're not being paid off by big climate, because that's not a thing. And just to be clear, this is not theoretical. Actual insurance companies are paying billions of dollars because there are more fires and
Swiss Re insured losses from extreme weather. Swiss. $2021. Blah blah blah. Let's see a chart here. Let's go to the chart. Some of these are man-made. So the green ones here, these kind of turquoise ones, let me zoom in here. These turquoise ones are weather related. These pink ones are man-made. These blue ones are earthquakes and tsunamis. Interesting. And here's hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria. Here's Japan and New Zealand earthquakes. Here's hurricanes Katrina, Rita, and Wilma. And we see this curve going up here, just kind of going up. Wondering if the author left a link to this statistic or did he invent it out of his head. Let's see if he did leave a link. I hope he did. I mean, yeah. Yeah, he said he's linking it. Oh, here's a link, a Google Doc of links. Okay. So, view, zoom, let's do 150. Fossil fuel companies, BP, Exxon, Chevron. It's too big to fit in the YouTube description. Maybe I'll turn that off. I'm gonna turn that one off just for a bit. Okay, that's off. Let me see, Exxon. Climate solutions, air quality, reducing impacts to land and habitats. Let's see if I can try to delete this. Governance, social, sustainability, ESG, I guess. So yeah, they're acknowledging that they need to at least say they're doing something. Okay, here's the insurance companies. Brookings, Economist article. Upends the corporate world. Gotta pay. Brookings is pretty respected. Do I have a Discord? You can join my my Discord server if you'd like. I should post a link to that actually. Feel free to join my Discord server. Here's a link to my Discord server. I typically share my Discord server in my streams and stuff so people can join. And yeah, oh yeah, of course I didn't feel pressure. I just felt like doing it because I wanted it to. Yeah, I'm less active on Twitch and YouTube streams now, so my Discord's pretty active now. Feel free to browse around, and I do have my own stances on things, but I'm pretty tolerant of other people as long as they're not like, I don't know, getting into long, impossible to moderate discussions or something. Like, or you know, I don't know, getting into altercations or something. But I don't know, I feel like hopefully we can all learn from each other. Um, let's see. Yeah, CO2 emissions. Yeah, okay, I guess we get the idea.
Floods and droughts and storms and heat waves. I mean, there's always going to be 1,000 bing bongs on Twitter talking shit about climate change, but the people whose actual job it is to predict risk are saying climate change is just number one. And number three, every scientific community in every country in the world agrees that climate change is dangerous and we have a limited amount of time to stop it. All of them. These are not political, they're not partisan, they're just scientists in their science labs doing science shit. They're pouring beakers into smaller beakers, they're looking at air, and they're using computers. They are not in cahoots. In fact, they're actively trying to prove each other wrong because that's how you get to the top of the science community.
Punch the leg!
Think about it. There are literal trillions of dollars in funding waiting for the first scientist who can prove climate change is a hoax. Don't you think it's a little weird that no one has come forward with the evidence? What are you doing? Hey, I'm talking to you. Did you poop here? Oh, okay, mature.
Oh, join the Discord server? Yeah, I didn't really decorate it that much. I had like stuff for the channels and stuff, but I don't really have roles really. It's a super small Discord server. It's if you're used to like really big fancy Discord servers, like it's not as big. Hey, how's it going? Wave, hello. Hello, what's up? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It's working so far. Whatever. Yeah, I feel like you're the first person to mention that. Let's see, scientific consensus. Okay, here we go.
Real mature. F***ing goose. So yes, a few extra carbon dioxide molecules in the atmosphere cooking a planet seems counterintuitive, but so does using electrified liquid crystals on a supercomputer the size of an Eggo waffle to watch a guy talk about climate change, yet here we are. We ask science to figure out things for us all the time, and they've figured out climate change so hard that even the companies with a financial interest in denying it have gotten on board. It's good to be skeptical, and it's stupid to blindly follow authority. But it's not exactly smart to get all your information from memes and some guy on Facebook. So just ask yourself this: what's more likely? That a shadowy cabal of all the climate scientists, economists, oil companies, and insurance firms in the world are involved in a 100-year conspiracy that's only ever been found out by an intrepid handful of uncles with a tenuous grasp on Photoshop? Or that email you just got that was the subject line, forward, you gotta see this climate change hoax, might not have been completely trustworthy. And that's it. Was that 2 minutes?
3 minutes.
Oh, way over. Okay, sorry. Thank you for watching if you got this far. If you want to send this to somebody who might be a skeptic, I think that would be good. Obviously, I'm not going to convince everybody, but if I can get 6 people to do a little Googling, that's probably worth it. Okay.
I think he already got me doing it, so I think he's already part of the way there. It's 310,000 views. I'm sure he got some people in those figures. Yeah, and I actually saw him speak in New York City. Like, pretty funny guy in person during his live performance. And he debuted a new video. It's gonna go on his channel soon, so I'm not gonna give complete spoilers or anything like that, but it's kind of about climate education in the United States and like climate misinformation in the United States, and how like a lot of like hoaxes got spread around through the education system and stuff over here. So it kind of put in perspective like, why do so many people believe like certain things about like things not happening or not happening, and I realized, wow, there's like a lot of stuff going on in like a lot of places that are so different to where I'm at in New York City and stuff, that like, yeah, this stuff just kind of spreads and people just kind of believe certain things. So you two have a small server, some roles, some order channels. Okay. Oh, no worries. Yeah, you can help decorate. Um, oh, thank you for offering. I think it's okay for now. If I want to go in that direction, I'll let you know. But I think I'm okay for now. Um, yeah, yeah. So far, it's pretty minimal right now, and no worries about like saying that. Feel free to just jump in. And thank you. But I do appreciate you saying that. I do appreciate you, yeah, checking in with me. Yeah, and it means you trust me, so that's good. So okay. So let me see. Where do we go from here? How do we go about this in a fun way or something? Um, let's get this back to. Let's get this back to. Um, where's the filters? There we go. Edit filters. Okay, so. What are some entertaining resources discussing climate change? You know what? Actually, I'm thinking of one right now. Hyla the Earth. This entertainer. Let me see if I can find one of her. Okay, this does get a little PG-13, but yeah, this is a eco rapper who does comedy and education. Hyla the Earth. I believe they're also based in New York City, because like this clip here is from Central Park, and they're actually featured in a local news segment on creators in New York. So yeah, let's check out Hyla the Earth.
The roots, I give you the mound, feed me your feces, we need to hustle, clean up my beaches, show me your muscles, I'll give you crabs, I'll give you turtles, fill me up baby, I'm filled and I'm fertile, dirty talk, you want the dirt, feeling the clay and the sand up my shirt, slipping my silk, I'll give you a squirt, you wanna eat it, you need my dirt, calcium, nitrogen, enzymes, vitamins, spread your seeds, I am vitamin, giving you what you need time and time again, I got minerals, fungi, H2O, bacteria, carbon, nematodes, you wanna grow, you gotta get a hoe, go work the land, that's a hand job bro, throw your organics all over my body, I'll make it hot, you're welcome to watch, I'll make it down, I'll mix it all up, and then when I'm done you can go some new stuff, take it up, snap pets when I'm sequestering that carbon, I come alive when you get me wet, there's an orgy in your garden, woo! I like to ride.
All right. 1.5 million views, 1.5 million likes, that is. Wow, really big. And yeah, had some fun events lately. Yeah, cool stuff. See if there's some other stuff we can see here.
Give me two.
Whoops, man, Instagram's bugging out. Wow.
Give me 2 hydrogen, added to oxygen. Same old water been cycling in the well. The table's full of me, run down the mountain, filter through trees. Yo, I'm solid, that's that ice. Steam it up while you cook that rice. Every crystal's got that glow, precipitation's cold and snow. Now
It is pretty corny. It's not like it's definitely not it's got a good message. Maybe I'm just a corny guy or something. It's definitely not like the level of like, I don't know. It does feel like it's Magic School Bus or something. It is a little cringy. I'm a corny guy though. I don't know. And it's definitely not like, actual like cool rappers who are doing like really modern rapping techniques and make it look really cool. So yeah, it's a little cheesy. It is very cheesy. Yeah. So, but I like the message behind it. Yeah. Anyway, Okay, we'll check it. Okay, bear with me for a moment. We'll check out one more, and then we'll check out a local story about her, um, and just kind of her message that she's trying to spread and stuff. So let's check this out, and then stick with me here, and we'll check it out.
Put your hands in the air for this wet ass.
Okay, it's a parody of WAP, so we don't have to do that, I guess. But let me see if this one.
Hi, so I feel like I really
Man, Instagram's so weird on like a desktop browser. Let me see. Let me just go to the local news. Here we go.
One New Yorker is doing something completely different when it comes to environmental activism, fighting climate change
feeling
one
self-conscious
song
now.
at a
I'm
time.
feeling
Is
self-conscious.
Hilla the Earth. She's a self-proclaimed eco-rapper who makes her way through the city rapping about the environment and ways New Yorkers can make the planet a greener place. Zinnia Maldonado tells us more about her efforts.
New York City's Hilla the Earth.
Now put your hands in the air.
Hi, I'm Hilla Perry, aka Hilla the Earth.
A self-proclaimed eco-rapper is on a mission to save the planet through music.
Got minerals, fungi, H2O, bacteria, carbon, nematodes.
I write songs that are educational and catchy and super fun about earth science, about sustainability, about climate justice.
The 32-year-old performs throughout the city wearing a big round Earth costume. Her music, a call to action against climate change. Many of her videos going viral on TikTok with millions of views.
Oh, what's dying from cringe? Michael, I'm dying, don't leave me. What is that from? What is Michael, I'm dying, don't leave me? Dying from cringe. You know, what is that quote? There's a quote. Quote on cringe. The part of you that cringes. Yeah, here it is. Here's the line. This is my stance on cringe, right here. Do not kill the part of you that is cringe. Kill the part of you that cringes. That's my stance on cringe. I would take, and you know, one of my idols back in the day, one of his stances was he would take someone who's authentic and genuine and earnest over someone who's cool and trying to be cool all the time. So yeah. Oh, hey, Ollie. Oh, you're in New York. Hey, what up, Ollie? How's it going? Let's give a shout out to Ollie. Hey, how's it going, buddy? Haven't seen you in a long time. Hope you've been well. Let's check out Ollie. Yeah. I'm doing good. It's New York here. Paf, wop, wah, wah. You're in Brooklyn. Oh, cool, man. Yeah. 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 Hope you've been well. I think PR PhD was mentioning some of that and stuff and meeting up potentially, but don't quote me on that. I think he might have mentioned that. But yeah, hope you've been well. Yeah, what are you doing? What have you been up to? Wait, so you're in Brooklyn right now watching my Twitch stream? You should be enjoying the city. You know, I appreciate you being here and everything, but like, yeah, hope you're doing some fun stuff in Brooklyn and everything. You came in at a weird time. We're talking about the attitudes towards cringe culture and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely want to give you a shout out and welcome you. Remember, Padita means joy to another's joy and all that. I hope you're doing well. Wow, how often have you come to? When's the last time you've been in New York? Is this like your first time or something? But yeah, hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining the stream while you're in Brooklyn, of all places, where there's like so much to do in the city. And it's like cloudy today in New York City. Like that's one of the reasons I'm streaming today is because it's cloudy. I'm also taking some time off lately. Yeah. We're just talking about like climate sustainability issues and stuff like that. Yeah, do you want to check this out? Is this interesting? Maybe we'll check this out. But feel free to keep updating me with like what's been going on, how you've been doing. Are you in my Discord server, by the way? I just invited. Oh, heyo. Let me see if I send you an invite to my Discord server. Feel free to join. Yeah, no problem. Feel free to join my Discord server, Ollie. You are more than welcome. We're just talking about this New York-based eco rapper who raps about ecology. So yeah, I guess we'll continue this.
We sat down with a Lower Manhattan native at a community garden in the East Village. She says as a city kid, she didn't grow up with a connection to nature.
Growing up here is a big motivator for me. New York City is a really unsustainable place. We import everything that we have. Very few foods and goods are grown or made here.
However, her career blossomed out of her love for learning science and performing. And after living a zero-waste lifestyle for 2 years, she started creating songs
Wow, zero-waste lifestyle for 2 years. Wow, that's amazing.
About environmental science in 2017.
While they're listening to the lyrics, they learn new words, they learn new concepts about soil health, about water, about the carbon cycle, the nitrogen cycle, clouds, mushrooms, the ways that the earth regenerates.
Back in June, the city council passed a mandate requiring all residential buildings by fall of 2024 to separate food scraps from their regular trash in efforts to reduce the amount of organic waste in landfills throughout all 5 boroughs. Perry hopes by performing to crowds and sharing her music via social media, New Yorkers will start to make small lifestyle changes such as composting.
That's a huge win for the planet.
I do wonder what that means, like exactly like what that entails, yeah, I don't know, like I guess we always we're typically we buy stuff and then we throw it out, we don't reuse it or anything. Yeah, like we're always producing all this waste. I mean, just like New York City is a city known for its garbage, because some other cities they have garbage like in back alleyways and stuff like that. Like oftentimes our garbage is kind of like piled up in front of the buildings, but you know, even though it's got all that stuff, you know, it's pretty hard to. It's hard. There's certain things in New York City that are hard to replace, of course, but in other cities. But yeah, we do have we are known for our garbage a little bit. But yeah, lots of cool stuff in New York overall, though. Yeah.
And for New York, because all it really takes is to keep your food scraps in the.
Yeah, there's also you know, on this kind of topic, Vegandale, NYC. There's gonna be like a vegan event in New York City coming up. Yeah, yeah, next Saturday is Vegandale on Randall's Island Park. It's 250 vendors from around the globe, 25 plus free samples. There's also interactive art experiences. There's also performers, you know, vegan food, vegan drinks, stages, art, you know, photos, photo opportunities, performances, lots of cool people, lots of cool stuff. And yeah, it's a fun opportunity to, I don't know, just enjoy the summer, I guess, you know, what the last bit of summer, right as fall is about to begin. So yeah, check it out, Vegandale. I'm going to actually give a shout out to this. And if you're in New York, yeah, why not check it out?
Freezer so they don't smell or rot, and then once a week or however many times you want to, you can go to a drop-off site and give them to the gardens here, and they feed all the plants.
Her overall goal, making New York City a greener place.
I really think that New York City has the potential to become an example and a beacon for the rest of the world, to show how such an industrial city, such a city that is sort of running on trash and there's pollution everywhere, can transform and become more green, and that we can, with the power of all of our communities, really start to honor the earth.
Yeah. Welcome to Earth. From Lower Manhattan, Zinnia Maldonado, CBS 2 News.
Well, the people have spoken and the brands have listened, and they are officially
Okay. Let's see.
One New Yorker.
So that's Hollow of the Earth. Very, very cool. Who else we got? Who else we got? So here's Raleigh Williams. Let's give a shout out to.
Hey there. Let's see what people are saying about climate change.
So here's Hollow of the Earth. Definitely check her out. Here's Raleigh Williams.
Hey there.
On this stuff. Climate Town. I thought there was a lot of garbage. When I saw your amazed because they were very. Oh man, that feels backhanded, man. That feels a little backhanded. I mean, there is a large amount of garbage and stuff in New York City. It's a huge city. New York City has a lot of people. It's let me see. I can't help but feel a little hurt by that, but it's true. We do have a lot of garbage in New York City. We do produce. It's a big city. Let me see. NYC Parks. Transformation. Let me see. TED. Oops. See if we can find the one I was looking for. Oh yeah, here's a TED Talk. I'm probably gonna get a takedown for this. Let me see if I could just find some clips of this somewhere. Let's mute it. So let's make this default view. Okay, let's get a soundbite here.
So I believe that lively, enjoyable public spaces are the key to planning a great city. What attracts people to successful public spaces? And what is it about unsuccessful places that keeps people away?
All right, so an animal behaviorist and just studying and designing public spaces in New York City. So here's a little space in here. For promotion, yay! All right, Doug. All right, please. Blah, 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 blah. Price is lower than competitors. I didn't even have to read the whole thing. Time out. There we go. Excellent. Excellent. All right. We're a big city. Okay, and Moscow. I see. Okay. I mean, the thing is, like, we have, like, issues like providing dumpsters for a lot of places. How do I even describe this issue? Let's even, like, get into this a little bit. Why exactly does this happen? So we always have all these rules. We have rats. Trash pickup. I don't know, let's learn about this. Trash bin pilot program. This maybe is gonna help a little bit here.
Bags of trash on the street corners have long been an eyesore in the city, and the Adams administration has a new idea to help deal with it. Morgan McKay tells us about the new bins coming to the 5 boroughs in hopes of keeping.
Even if you're not, like, even if you don't care about the climate, or let me just say something here. Even if you don't care about the climate or the environment or anything, just like being surrounded by like all this trash in New York City doesn't feel good. It's not good for living your daily life. So I think this is something everybody can get behind, no matter where they are on the political spectrum or anything. Like, we gotta deal with the trash in New York City in a good way. I think everybody could agree on that. Like, we should do something about this. It's a New York City problem. There's a lot of it. We should have better solutions. And I guess this story is about our mayor trying to test out a new program for trash bin collection and stuff. Other cities I've been to, they have like bins provided in like back alleyways, and there's specific infrastructure set up to have alleyways where there can be garbage trucks that pass by and it doesn't get in the way of like normal flow of traffic and stuff. In New York City, it's an old city. It goes back to like the early 1900s, and like I don't know, just how we set up the infrastructure, we just don't have space for a lot of these trash bins and stuff, or like we just didn't set it up for whatever reason historically. And yeah, maybe like we'll get into it with this thing here or something. I don't know if this is a Wikipedia article on this or anything, but yeah, let's check it out.
Garbage from overflowing onto the curb.
There's nothing more New York than talking about trash.
It's become a normal sight in the city. Trash bags piled on street corners, the smell filling the air, and rodents scurrying between bags.
No.
There's always a problem, you know, especially at night. You're walking home from dinner or whatever, you can't, some sidewalks you can't even walk down because you see rats inside the garbage that's piling up on the side.
My parents are here from Sweden right now, and they were really shocked about all the trash on the street. We don't have that in Sweden.
The city announced on Wednesday a new pilot program that will bring containerized trash bins to all 5 boroughs. Instead of dumping trash bags on the sidewalk, garbage will be placed inside these sealed receptacles.
No matter where I go, I hear the complaints over and over again, loud and clear, New Yorkers, you want clean streets. You want trash off our sidewalks. You're tired of the rodents. You're tired of the smell. You're tired of seeing food waste and spillage.
Containerized waste bins are popular in cities like Paris and Amsterdam. The city is partnering with business improvement districts, resident groups, and other commercial organizations to install and maintain these bins. Groups can apply online to host one of these new bins, which can hold commercial and residential waste. The first 2 bins were installed in Times Square with the help of the Times Square Alliance.
With 300,000 people once again coming back to Times Square each day, keeping the streets and sidewalks clean is an absolute priority.
The city is dedicating $1.3 million for this pilot program to place sealed trash containers in
1.3 million.
all 5
That's
boroughs.
it.
So
I've been willing to throw in more in my taxes if we could get, you know, trash off the streets. Take more of my taxes. We gotta fix this problem, people. Oh, hey, Pierre PhD, how's it going? Shout out Pierre PhD. I mean, it is a problem. I don't think it's like literally you see like I don't know, rats everywhere constantly or whatever, but it is a thing. I don't know. Yeah, there's trash in New York City.
Trash like this doesn't end up on the street. Reporting from Brooklyn, I'm Morgan Mackay, Fox 5 News.
Okay, Oscar the Grouch. I love trash. Let's just skip to the song.
We love trash. Anything dirty or dingy or dusty. Anything ragged or rotten or rusty. Yes, I love trash.
Oh boy. Yeah, and Sesame Street was made in New York City, and it still is to this day made in New York City. So it's just interesting. New York, more like new trash. Oh boy. But New York City is a beautiful city. We have some beautiful parks and stuff. There's a park called Paley Park, New York City. Sesame Street, yeah. Did you watch Sesame Street growing up? Sesame Street's great. I love Sesame Street. You know, we could just show this GIF here. Yeah, Sesame Street. Yeah, I don't know when's the last time. I'm like a big fan of like Sesame Street and stuff. I mean, I don't know if it's obvious or not, but I forgot to wear my hat today. But you know, I mean, here's my hat, and I have this Muppet here. Oh, we're dealing with a lot of trash here in New York City. Never watched Sesame Street before? Oh, never? Okay. I was wondering what that reaction was about. I don't know. Okay. So here's Paley Park. Nice Kermit, bro. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, by the way. Appreciate your presence. All right.
Called Paley Park in Midtown Manhattan. This little space became a small phenomenon. And because it had such a profound impact on New Yorkers, it made an enormous impression on me. But what was it about this space that made it special and drew people to it? And first, among other things, were the comfortable, movable chairs. People would come in, find their own seat, move it a bit, actually, and then stay a while. And then, interestingly, people themselves attracted other people. And ironically, I felt more peaceful if there were other people around. And it was green. This little park provided what New Yorkers craved: comfort and greenery. Where you didn't feel alone or like a trespasser.
Oh, maybe we gotta turn up the volume for this one. So here's plazas. This is how plazas look in New York City. Oh, it's 1 a.m. because tomorrow there's a lot to do. Alright, well, appreciate you sticking around. Feel free to hang out in the Discord. I don't stream as much as often anymore, but I'm pretty active on Discord. And, yeah, I don't know, feel free to chat on there. Yeah, appreciate you dropping by. And, yeah, I'm gonna discuss more in New York City other than trash and some park stuff. The VOD will be online on YouTube, so you're watching on YouTube now. Feel free to follow on Twitch as well. Yeah, thanks for dropping by. And take it easy, Professor. Hope you stay safe, stay strong, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Let's see. So how do we develop public spaces in a city like New York? This was
the first opportunity I had to fight for a great public open space was in the early 1980s when I was leading a team of planners at a gigantic landfill called Battery Park City in Lower Manhattan on the Hudson River.
It's wild to think that this was a landfill. This actually literally was a pile of trash, but it's actually like near where my high school is right now, where I went to high school. Good night. Yeah, take it easy. Peace. Have a good one. Sleep well, and have a good day tomorrow. Hope you have a good day.
And this sandy wasteland had lain barren for 10 years, and we were told unless we found a developer in 6 months.
So they developed this park. Then they developed it. This is how it looks now.
In this photo, everything looks very finished. But that granite edge, those lights, the back on that bench, the trees and planting, and the many different kinds of places to sit were all little battles that turned this project into a place that people wanted to be. I wanted to make sure that there were tree-lined paths from the upland to the water, that there were trees and plantings everywhere, and of course, lots and lots of places to sit. Honestly, I had no idea how it would turn out. I had to have faith, but I put everything that I had studied and learned into those plants. And then...
Hey, Valiant Thor, welcome to the stream. We have not solved the climate crisis yet. We're working on it though. Slowly, very slowly. Thank you for joining. Shout out. Valiant Thor. Are you a big fan of Marvel movies by chance? I'm a big fan of Marvel movies. Is Valiant Thor like a specific version of Thor from the comics or something? Yeah, but welcome to the stream. We're streaming on YouTube and Twitch. YouTube, I don't make any money, but on Twitch I make money. During the 1970s, the science experts predicted by the year 2000 the world would be in a full-blown ice age. Let that sink in. That's pretty wild. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different theories during different eras, but that's... I mean, I don't really know much about that theory, but I know that scientists and different scientific communities... I mean, we were just talking about this, like, in an earlier video. Scientists, you know, take data through different eras and use it to inform their new science as things go along. Stranger in the Pentagon. Interesting. Valiant Thor. Stranger in the Pentagon. Interesting. So how did you find this stream by chance? Just kind of browsing. Interesting. It has something to do with Cold War era stuff. Interesting. American Horror Story. Oh, okay. I don't know much about this kind of stuff. Random channel surfing. Okay, cool, man. I mean, I don't know. We're just talking parks right now. We're just talking like dealing with New York City's trash problem. We're not really discussing I don't know, the Ice Age theory as much right now. We're just talking about parks. So I mean, I was just saying, like, in New York City, like, no matter what you believe, whatever political spectrum you're on, you know, we do have a trash problem. And you know, I think anybody could agree that we don't want trash lying around in New York City, and we want to live in a nice city with nice parks and nice trees and stuff. And anybody could appreciate that, you know. Especially also if it creates communities of people that can connect with each other and talk to each other. And having that kind of effect on the parks and stuff is, public spaces is really valuable. So, I don't know, that's kind of my attitude. And if it can help with other things too, then that'd be good as well. But I don't know, just having that as a baseline is already a nice thing to improve public spaces and everything. And I kind of try to have that kind of feel for my my streams and stuff as well. This is my stuff, and just to let you know, I'm Mudita. Mudita means joy at another's joy. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like I hear people of different beliefs and stuff like that, and we don't necessarily see eye to eye, but hopefully we can at least appreciate each other's presence and get to know each other. This is a small stream after all, and you know, just have like something one-to-one or something. So, but anyway, we're just talking about parks right now, and maybe we'll talk about some other stuff later.
It opened, and I have to tell you, it was incredible. People came from all over the city.
Wow, look at this. This was like all like nothing before. And now like there's tons of people just sitting and chatting with each other and appreciating the nice weather in New York City. And there's all this greenery in New York City. The coming Ice Age. I mean, I'm taking a look at it in another tab. We'll take a look at these. In Search of with Leonard Nimoy, The Coming Ice Age. before there was global warming, there was global cooling. The climate change saga unfolds as we visit 1978 and explains how the human population is causing the Earth to freeze. Okay, I guess I haven't seen this one. This is 20 minutes. Maybe I'll check it out sometime.
To be in these parks. I know they change.
Oh, there's an ad break. There's an ad break for our Twitch friends. Thanks for sticking around, folks. I'm gonna use a water break actually. It's about an hour into this. So I'll take a quick break and then we'll be right back. So we'll take a quick 3-minute break. Where is it?
Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
All right, we're back, folks. We're back. Discuss some more climate solutions. All right, check this out a little bit.
How do you turn a park into a place that people want to be? Well, it's up to you, not as a city planner, but as a human being. You don't tap into your design expertise, you tap into your humanity. I mean, would you want to go there? Would you want to stay there? Can you see into it and out of it? Are there other people there? Does it seem green and friendly? Can you find your very own seat? Well, now, all over New York City, there are places where you can find your very own seat.
me see, did I get a strike or something? What happened? Anyway, that's enough of that. Here's another one.
Of pipes, and there's the pipes that fill up the reservoir, and there's the pipes that clean.
I mean, some of this stuff you could just see like before and after. Here's it in this here's Central Park in the 1970s, filled with garbage and stuff. It was absolutely awful.
Things had gotten really bad for Central Park, so something dramatic had to happen, and what happened next was really important.
So they fixed it, and they restored it.
Plan to restore and manage Central Park in a different way than parks had ever been managed before. So this was the sheep meadow that
They let it grow, and then
meadow,
now this is
and let it grow in, and
restored.
explain to people that you couldn't play softball or football or soccer here anymore. It was just a big piece of green grass to be a backyard for people who didn't have backyards.
So the Conservancy model applied.
It went to Atlanta, and Atlanta's parks were in bad shape. And
Atlanta has a Central Park. Now in Chicago.
back now. And even in Chicago, right next to downtown Chicago, you had a big parking lot underground, and you had this train yard, an area that really needed to come to life. And they
And wow, this is what it looks like now. Does this really look like this? Like Millennium Park, Chicago. Wow. It has the bean. That's what it used to look like. That's a performance venue too. It's very lovely. It's very awesome. Look at this. Lovely. It's so cool. I thought this was so cool to learn about. I would love to be a park planner if that could be a thing. That sounds like such a fun thing to do, but I don't know. I don't know what that takes, you know. There's a marsh in San Francisco, and it got cleaned up. Brooklyn Bridge Park.
And they came up with an idea for a park between the Manhattan Bridge and Atlantic Avenue, and that's this park. It's Brooklyn Bridge Park, and it's the ultimate recycled park. They took stone from a tunnel digging project under the East River and used the stone to form the new hills in this beautiful romantic landscape. And every drop of water in this park is harvested. It goes into underground containers to be used for irrigation. It's used for naturalistic wetland in the park. It's used to irrigate the lawns. And that's the new practice that we need. This is a new paradigm for sustainable parks and sustainable cities. And
reusing the water, reusing the stone from the construction.
even the stairs on which these people are sitting are made from stone recycled from a bridge that was taken down. An old bridge was taken down uptown.
An old bridge was taken down. Sorry, I'm just repeating stuff now.
Multiple layers of value that parks can create is happening all over the world. This is Singapore, where they capture the stormwater in a big what they call the marine barrage. And if there's too much water, they lower a dam and let it out into the ocean, but that same dam keeps the ocean out, and it's a big reservoir for the city of Singapore.
That's Madrid.
In Madrid, they had big highways next to the main river running through the middle of Madrid. They sunk those highways underneath the ground. They built beautiful new parks on top of them, and suddenly a neighborhood that nobody wanted to live in is the most desirable neighborhood in Madrid. And it makes cities livable to have great new parks.
And it makes cities livable too. You can argue like this cynical aspect that like, oh, it drives up rent prices and stuff, but it's pretty good for the people who live there already. And you want to be in a place that's like, I don't know, not desolate or whatever, and you want it to be somewhere nice to live. That's good to be able to do it in a way that's also sustainable. All these different factors at the same time. There's so much work put into this, and it's not only the building of it, but it's also the maintaining of it. You got to maintain all the plants and trees and whatnot, and it provides value to a city, you know. Let's see if we can find something about the history of parks programs. Brief history of the National Park Service.
It began with just one park in 1872.
Nature had endowed Yellowstone with a strange, savage beauty.
But since then, the United States National Park System has grown tremendously. 400 areas now, covering 84 million acres across all 50 states.
This is the National Park System, not like, I guess, like state or city parks, I guess. But yeah.
An incredible success story, often called America's greatest idea. But how did it all come about?
84 million acres. So how much space is that? Acres to square miles, kilometers. $84 million. 84 million acres equals 131,250 square miles. Wow. And then let's see. How many miles is a million acres? How many? Notice how people say miles instead of square miles. Square kilometers. For those of you who might not follow the U.S. imperial system or whatever. 84, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 339,000 square kilometers. Oh, wow. Okay, that sounds like a lot. That's a big number.
Million acres across all 50 states. An incredible success story, often called America's greatest idea. But how did it all come about? Find out in a brief history of the National Park System. The concept of a national park is largely credited to George Catlin, an American painter who in 1832 traveled across the Great Plains to document disappearing Native American tribes. By some great protecting policy of government, Caitlin argued for, a magnificent park, a nation's park containing man and beast, in all the wildness and freshness of their nature's beauty. A few decades later, in 1872, Catlin's dream came true when a natural wonderland spanning Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho became the world's first official national park.
Wow, I didn't know Yellowstone was the first national park. I didn't know that. Huh.
They called it Yellowstone.
Here is one of the most
I mean, we've been to Yellowstone as a family, and like, I don't know, like my family made a big point to like have us go to Yellowstone. Growing up, I didn't see the point. I was always into like playing Game Gear or something. But looking back, I really should have appreciated it a lot more. The experience of like seeing like the US's first national park and stuff. I didn't really know much about it, so I felt like it was like if I saw this documentary about it, I'd be a little more excited about it. But yeah.
spoiled regions on Earth. But visitors must be prepared for roadblocks like 500-pound bears.
Oh.
We'll just keep the car windows rolled up. Thank you.
Further west in California's Yosemite Valley, a controversy was brewing. While the area had been deeded to the state in 1864, with portions belonging to the federal government, the naturalist John Muir believed the state-managed areas were being exploited and lobbied Congress for it to become a national park under full federal control. In 1903, Muir convinced President Theodore Roosevelt to join him on a camping trip in Yosemite. And 3 years later, the park was under full federal control. By 1906...
So that's John Muir. Teddy Roosevelt. John Muir. The father of national parks, John of the Mountains. Letters, essays describing adventures in nature, and especially in Sierra Nevada. Treasures of the Yosemite. Helped push for the U.S. Congress to pass a bill in 1890 establishing the Yosemite National Park. An inspiration of both Scots and Americans. One of the patron saints of 20th century American environmental activity. Often been quoted by nature photographers such as Ansel Adams. Ecological thinker, political spokesman, environmental advocate, almost ubiquitous, saving the American soul from total surrender to materialism. Wow. His attitude towards Native Americans evolved over his life. He said some bad things. But so the white settlers were selfish, based and lacking honor. Interesting. He wrote about equality of all people, regardless of color or race, the immorality of slavery in his final book, Travels in Alaska. Interesting. Is the Muir Woods named after him? Named after naturalist John Muir, the old growth redwoods in San Francisco Bay Area. It is named after John Muir. All right. John Muir. Father of national parks.
Congress helped expand the park system by passing the Antiquities Act, which granted the president the authority to set aside historic landmarks that already existed on public lands. Roosevelt took swift action, proclaiming Wyoming's Devil's Tower as the first national monument that year, and establishing a tradition that would continue today. For more than 40 years, the nation's parks were supervised at different times by the Departments of War, Agriculture, and the Interior. But President Woodrow Wilson sought to clear the bureaucratic mess and created the National Park Service on August 25, 1916. Then by 1933, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt further streamlined the agency with Executive Order 6166. It consolidated all the national parks, monuments, memorials, and cemeteries into a single national park system. 3 decades later, President Johnson ushered in a new era of America's conservation, emphasizing a parks for the people ideology that sought more publicly accessible parks in urban areas.
This is a very happy and historic occasion for all who love the great American outdoors.
And since then, the list of national parks has grown steadily. California has the most national parks with 9, while Alaska's Wrangell St. Elias National Park is by far the largest. Can you even imagine America without its national parks? From the rivers of grass in the Everglades to the volcanoes of Hawaii, this unique system reflects how far Americans have come in their appreciation for the natural world.
A very romanticized version of Americans, but I mean, I don't know, like maybe this is one of the more positive takes we can have. You know, that's one of the, I mean, I can't criticize of all the things to criticize of America, like it's pretty hard to criticize the trying to preserve the natural world. That's maybe one of the better things we've done. Let's see. Let me see, mitigation. Oh, whoops. Renewable energy explained fun. Renewable energy 101. Bill Nye solves the energy crisis. Maybe that's...
Chuck.
Star Talk Radio, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Let me see if there's like a PBS. I actually don't understand that. So the climate change narrative is a big money grab. I literally don't understand that. Who is grabbing the money in climate change narrative exactly? Like it's like wouldn't like I don't know, big oil have more to gain from like things staying the way they are? Like that's what I don't get. Like if people actually believe that's a big narrative, then like who's gonna get all the money? Like I don't know, solar energy companies, like electric battery companies. Like these things don't make money. Can you afford $100,000 electric vehicle? I mean, non-electric cars using gasoline cost like something along that scale, like 50,000, 30,000, 100,000. And electric vehicles, once you start making a few of them, it scales up, and then they get cheaper over time, so it gets cheaper and cheaper. So is the big money grab from EV companies, and who's it coming at the cost of? Like existing automobile companies? Like is it displacing automobile companies who are like emitting all these like diesel fuels and stuff like that? Like that's what I don't get. Like you know what I mean? Like actually, let me see. Cheaper costs of let's actually engage with that question. Costs of electric vehicles. So I don't really see any what are all these different companies? These YouTube channels. Okay. Here we go.
Electric cars have become increasingly popular in recent years with the benefits of saving on gas and saving the environment. But data shows some consumers are wary of the price and the effectiveness of the models.
Okay, so maybe
here
they
to
are
help
still
us break
pricey.
down what consumers should
pretty
know
valid.
before buying
Pretty
is
valid
Medora Lee. She's a money and personal finance reporter with USA Today. Thanks for joining us. So Americans are a little nervous. They're not going, full into the electric vehicle revolution. It seems that electric vehicles are popular, though. You hear a lot of people talking about them. You see more of them on the streets, but the data shows that the majority of the people have some concerns. What are they concerned about?
Yes, so that is true. You do hear a lot of hype about electric vehicles, but I think that the Ford CFO in its recent conference call made a point and said there are a lot of surveys that show that about 20 to 30%
People are worried about how expensive
people
they are.
say they.
So this is like a valid concern. Like it's hard to shift over. A lot of people are worried, but I think the base premise that there is a change that needs to happen is also something that is agreed upon in other parts of the world outside the U.S. But in the U.S., it's still debated if climate change is actually happening.
Are interested in an electric vehicle, but maybe
We just
only
did
about
a video earlier before you got here, Valiant Thor, about like how there's evidence for this, not only from like scientific communities, but also insurance companies who like calculate these risks, but also even oil companies themselves have acknowledged like the importance of like needing to transition away from fossil fuels. like, you know, Exxon, Shell, you know, trillion-dollar market cap companies that like could like do anything to me if they really wanted to. These, I mean, oil companies are the biggest companies on the stock exchange. Like they're the biggest industry. Let me see, is that true? How big are fossil oil companies in the stock exchange as an industry by market capitalization? Which resources can I use to see sizes of financial industries by market cap? What's this thing? Bloomberg size of oil and gas industry by market cap. So yeah, ExxonMobil has a market capitalization, is the size of the company, of $420 billion US dollars, Chevron 308 billion, ConocoPhillips 148 billion, 72. So even just by like the top three, that's like around $1 trillion in market cap by 3 companies alone. How much money is $1 trillion? What sorts of things are around $1 trillion? So like this is on the scale of like military expenditure, auto loans, the art market, pharmaceutical, government budgets, national debt, market capitalization. What countries are GDP around 1 trillion? So interesting. So yeah, like the top 3 oil companies are worth around, like, you know, top 3 or 4 oil companies are worth around the size of, like, I don't know, the Netherlands GDP or Turkey's GDP, entire country. So it's a lot of money, just in oil. And how big is the EV market by market cap? Tesla. I guess Tesla's market cap is 788 billion. That's true. The second one is only 39 billion. Tesla's like, I mean, people have said Tesla's way overvalued. And is kind of running on the charisma of like Elon Musk or whatever. Yeah, there's not really any other companies that really compare. Yeah, that's like a huge market leader. So yeah, they seem to have a bit of a moat there. So yeah, I guess it's poised to grow by a lot. That's true. 2030, it's supposed to keep growing. mean, the thing is, like, it still has to happen, though. I mean, like, the point is, like, this is all belying the fact that, like, we are having temperature increases year over year, and we're trying to not pass, like, 1.5 degrees Celsius of warming since pre-industrial levels, and yeah, we're on track to, like, at least pass 2 degrees Celsius, so, I mean, I don't know, yeah. How much has global temperature changed since pre-industrial levels?
Why is 1.5 degrees such a big deal? Because to warm our entire planet up by 1.5 degrees Celsius requires a lot of heat. All this extra heat melts glaciers, which raise sea levels. If the ice sheets of Antarctica and Greenland melt completely, millions of people's homes will be underwater. The extra heat also intensifies weather, making wet places wetter, dry places drier, and increasing the ferocity of storms. That 1.5 degree increase also won't be distributed evenly. The coldest nights in the Arctic might get 10 degrees warmer. The warmest days in Mumbai might get 5 degrees hotter. Over the past 10,000 years, we've been lucky. Earth's climate was stable and our civilizations flourished. But as our climate gets more unstable, so will our economies and our societies. We'll all suffer, and the vulnerable will be hit hardest, unless we act now.
It's pretty light on data there, but here's an animation. Check this out. So 1854 global mean temperature, 12-month moving average. On the right is temperature anomaly. In the middle is 0. From white up is going into the red. Deep red is 7 degrees above. Deep blue is 7 degrees below. So we're going to 1850 to 2000 to the 2000s. This was developed 1 year ago. Let's check this out. So yeah, going up a little below. Going a little 71, 72, 73, 74. So it kind of fluctuates year to year. Here we have a chart here. 12-month moving average, 95% confidence. Pretty stable, relatively stable. So nothing to write home about. And then, okay, it's getting a little above here. This is like 1930s, 1940s. You know, it's a Great World War and everything. 1970s, 1980s. We're seeing it like spread around in a lot of different places. 1990s, 2000s. And we're just full above here now. 2000s, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018. It's like a little bit of blue here, but not much else. Very red in a lot of places. But yeah, there we go. Send a link to that. This is Berkeley Earth. Berkeley is a source of reliable, independent, non-governmental, and unbiased scientific data and analysis. Independent, non-governmental, and open source. About an independent independent U.S. nonprofit organization. Found some merit in the concerns of climate skeptics. They organize a group. Staunchly uphold the following organization values: scientific investigations of climate change. Data used in the studies. Licensing is licensed under Creative Commons for non-commercial use only. But it's stressful to think about all this stuff, you know, it's the kind of stuff you want to listen to some Stardew Valley while reading about all this. Ooh, this is stressful. Send a link to this. Let's check out this. The tricky plan to pull CO2 out of the air. Carbon dioxide removal. This is called, I believe this method is called direct air capture. So, in addition to reducing the amount of emissions we create, we should also try to actually remove emissions from the air. That's actually a new path that's starting up lately. On YouTube, they say climate change refers to long-term shifts in temperatures and weather patterns, mainly caused by human activities, especially the burning of fossil fuels. YouTube links to it. It's the UN. Humans are responsible for global warming. The average temperature of the Earth's surface is now about 1.1 degrees Celsius warmer than it was in the late 1800s.
I think this video will be on the internet in 2070, maybe in some internet archive somewhere. Well, researchers of the future, if you were wondering what we were doing here in the 2020s about climate change, the answer is we were committing to net zero. In the past few years, more than 70 countries, one after the next, have made a pledge to reach net zero emissions. That includes places that have barely contributed to climate warming, and it includes all of the countries that have been most responsible for emissions so far. It seems like everyone got the message that humankind needs to become carbon neutral, and we need to do it in the next 3 to 5 decades. But that would have been easier if we had started cutting emissions 20 years ago, because now we're up here and the math is getting really tough. So to make it work, governments are penciling in negative emissions. That's the net part of the net zero promise, the idea that we can reach zero while still emitting greenhouse gases if we're also taking CO2 out of the air. It's a bit contentious, but we're going to be hearing a lot about it. It's called CDR.
So carbon dioxide removal. What we want to do is put that carbon back where it belongs.
Gianna Amador is a CDR advocate, and she's going to help us explain this with the bathtub metaphor.
The bathtub in this situation is our atmosphere, and the water in the bathtub is the CO2 that's in our atmosphere.
Before the Industrial Revolution, the land and ocean typically released as much CO2 into the air as they absorbed back down through this drain.
So I guess that kind of ties into the other video we saw. Back in the day, it used to go up and down, basically up and down. Didn't really go above too often. 1850s goes up a little, goes down a little, goes up a little, goes down a little.
But when people started digging up coal and oil to power their machines, first in Europe and then in the US, it sent this new flow of CO2 into the air, one that the plants and oceans couldn't keep up with. About 45% of those emissions stay in the atmosphere, trapping heat and setting us up
Interesting, about 45% stay.
for an escalating array of climate disasters. So in 2015, all of the countries sent someone off to Paris to say, okay, everyone, we need to keep warming well below 2 degrees Celsius. And really, we're aiming for 1.5 degrees. That's above pre-industrial levels. And the exact numbers matter less than the fact that every increment of warming increases risk.
So first and foremost, we need to turn off the tap. Everything else is futile if we don't stop the root of the problem today. Turn off that tap, stop emitting CO2.
Not only have we not turned off any taps, global emissions are still rising, especially in Asia, where 60% of human beings live, many of whom are just emerging out of poverty. So now we're here at nearly 1.2 degrees of warming. Frankly, we have not done what it would take.
That's an interesting thing, is people debate on whether or not the developing world has the right to do more emissions to achieve economic upward mobility versus developed nations who've already done it and had their chance at upward economic mobility using fossil fuels. That's a debate that a lot of people are having internationally across country lines. In the US, though, we're just arguing if it's still even happening, so it's very frustrating.
To meet that 1.5 degree goal. But we may be able to keep warming under 2 degrees if all of those net zero promises become real net zero policies. And that's where things get a little tricky. Turning these emissions all the way off could get really hard, really expensive, or even unfair. So everyone's kind of hoping that we can work from the bottom of the tub too.
To kind of increase the size of the drain, increase the speed in which we can drain that water from the bathtub.
Now, CDR is distinct from CCS, which prevents emissions at the source. That works on the faucet. CDR grabs CO2 from the air, and people have come up with a lot of interesting ways of doing that. The most common one so far is planting and protecting forests. It's one of the more affordable CDR approaches right now, and it has a lot of benefits aside from capturing CO2. But we've seen from problems with the carbon offsets market that it can be hard to verify. And, trees don't live forever. So most of the modeling scenarios that limit warming assume we'll also be able to build a new drain for more permanent carbon storage.
So through things like rock weathering, we can crush up a bunch of rocks that naturally react with CO2 and try to speed up that reaction. Or we can use chemistry to mimic natural processes through technologies like direct air capture, which basically use a type of chemical that selectively binds with CO2 to capture it from the air.
These techniques all come with different costs, and they're in really early stages of development. So there's a concern that the people in charge of the faucets will see any movement down here as an excuse to avoid making cuts up there. Should we be counting on large amounts of carbon removal for our climate plans? Well, it seems we already are. The US government's net zero plan calls for 500 million metric tons of CO2 removal by 2050, up from 0 today. Model simulations that limit warming to 1.5 degrees envision around 3.8 billion tons of permanent carbon removal globally every year. And this is the total amount of permanent carbon removal that has happened so far. So would you call that wishful thinking? Or is it foresight about how much can happen in 30 years if we start our way up the learning curve now?
We have actually a really strong playbook of developing technologies and driving down costs. If we go all the way back to the 1970s, we see technologies like solar PV be around $70 per watt. Fast forward to 2023, we see those prices down at around 7 cents per watt, or even lower and at price parity with fossil fuels.
The challenge with that is that renewable energy produces something that's quite useful, which is energy, and CDR. What is the customer for CDRs, or where does the demand come from?
You've seen some major companies, including Stripe, Meta, Alphabet, McKinsey, Microsoft. All of these companies have made commitments to purchase carbon dioxide removal as part of their corporate social responsibility plans. That being said, I think in the long term, carbon removal could be provided as a public service in the ways that we manage some of our other pollution. We pay for someone to come around to collect our trash and to manage it in a way that is safe for our communities.
The US government is already offering billions of dollars to try to get a direct air capture industry off the ground. And I think it makes sense for the countries that have used the most fossil fuels to do the work of finding out if CDR can scale. But if it doesn't, well, then net zero will have been just another way of kicking the can down the road, which of course is how we ended up here in the first place, in this position where we may now have no choice but to try everything.
So that's a direct air capture. That one's a bit of a downer. Aye. Kicking the can down the road. I mean, I don't know, this topic is kind of tough, isn't it? It is kind of tough. Yeah, I mean, like, that's a good example. Like, there's no people who make money off of direct air capture. It's not a profitable business. Solar is not very profitable. Yeah, oil has like at least like a 8% profit margin. Like solar is like probably never gonna have like an 8% profit margin. Oh, ad break. I'll take a break as well.
Do 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 do. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.
Alright, and we're back. Let's just put on this clip from BBC Ideas. What if everyone planted a tree? Around 30% of our planet is covered in trees. Approximately 3 trillion trees. Oh wow, a decade's... Wait, what? That's fantastic. 1.2 trillion trees we'd cancel out a decade's worth CO2 emissions by the time the Fords mature. A decade's worth. All of humanity's work in a decade. Wow. 1.2 trillion. Where's that figure from? Carbon cycle feedbacks to predict climate change at large scale. Carbon cycle feedbacks to predict climate change. Could absorb more carbon than human emissions each year. Data from thousands of soil samples collected by local scientists that reveal the world's Arctic and subarctic regions store most of the world's carbon. But the warming of these ecosystems is causing the release of this soil carbon, a process that could accelerate climate change by 17%. Feeling the restoration of vegetation and soil carbon is by far our best weapon in the fight against climate change. That's a heck of an idea. Okay, I got it. 160 trees per person. I'll do my fair share. 160 trees. There we go. That sounds good. I want to hear about that. Forest bathing. Now that's something I want to hear about. Ah. Man, that's something, huh? That's really something. Japanese forest bathing is scientifically proven to improve your health. National Health Program of Shinrin-yoku in 1982. No jogging, no workouts, just quiet contemplation near trees. Trees emit oils. Phytoncides help our immune systems. City dwellers are even joining forest bathing clubs. Nice. Forest bathing. Now this was interesting, how trees talk to other trees with the help of fungi. Wide web, what a terrible pun. What a terrible pun. A wood wide web. Wood wide web. Terrible. Children. It's absolutely fascinating. That's fantastic. Alright, I think we'll have another 30 minutes of streaming and then we'll wrap up. I feel like things have slowed down a bit. Yeah. 10,000 plus years ago, eventually naturally cool back down again into an ice age. We were only recording temperature for 100 years out of the Earth's 6 billion. We know very little. Hey, Crush Beast 29, thanks for joining. We actually just went over a video talking about this a little bit. Yeah, we could see that again. Why not? It's been a while. So here's a brief video kind of going over some basic checkable facts you can check yourself that kind of point out some evidence for climate change being man-made and stuff. And this whole YouTube channel is dedicated to it. But here's 2 minutes, just a really quick overview of some facts. Some of it is even from oil companies themselves, so let's check it out. Oh, it's muted. Shit, how long has this been muted for?
Hoax to take my truck away.
Cool. Hi, I'm Raleigh Williams, climate science grad student, and the guy who's got to get that laptop after this. Damn it. A lot of people have been lied to about climate change, and it's hard to tell what's real. But if you give me 2 minutes of your time, I can give you some extremely fact-checkable evidence that might help convince you that climate change is happening. Welcome to Climate Town.
This is stuff you can check yourself.
Okay, number one, every oil, coal, and gas company has admitted that climate change is real and humans are causing it. All of them. All of them. Now, they have super good lawyers, so they probably won't face any consequences for their actions, but after years of loudly denying climate change, they have finally all quietly accepted the blame. And you don't have to take my word for this. Just Google climate change and then the name of any oil company and go buck wild on their corporate website.
So you can check this out yourself. It's in the links here. Google Doc full of links. Being brief is not my strong suit. Definitely this is a lot of text. Exxon new. Type in climate change and the name of your favorite oil company. Here's they would love to be able to deny climate change, but they can't do it anymore because they can't lie to a federal judge. So here's Exxon Mobil, for example. Focus areas. Exxon Mobil is trying to focus on climate solutions, plastics, conserving water, improving air quality, impacts to land and habitats, safety, 36% reduction in controlled hydrocarbon discharges to water. Yeah, more sustainability, environmental. Advancing climate solutions, affordable and clean energy, climate action. Yeah, so ExxonMobil is doing this. Increase the amount to spend on lower emission initiatives to 17 billion. Reducing emissions intensity. Reduction in upstream greenhouse gas intensity, methane, greenhouse gas data supplement, executive summary, blah blah blah. BP, getting to net zero. BP is trying to get to net zero by 2050 or sooner. Sustainability report. 50% in emissions. 10 to 15% by 2025, net zero, and then there's more, Chevron, Shell. So oil companies themselves are like trying to lower emissions and stuff. They have acknowledged this.
Here are the climate change is real sections of BP, Exxon. Just wait. Goose in the shot? Yep. Hey man, can you grab that laptop? Number 2, all of America's insurance companies and economist groups agree that climate change is slowly taking a baseball bat to the balls of the American economy. All of them. Conservative, liberal, young, old, Dracula. They're not being paid off by big climate, because that's not a thing. And just to be clear, this is not theoretical. Actual insurance companies are paying billions of dollars because there are more fires and floods and droughts and storms and heat waves. I mean,
So yeah, you gotta look at that. Swiss Re. Let's watch a video. Let's watch more videos. The Economists. Can you insure against climate change? This is insurance companies now.
Extreme weather events like these are becoming more frequent.
Fire seasons growing longer and more intense.
Florence could produce 50% more rain than it otherwise would have in a non-climate change environment.
I don't know how to describe this other than we're in the middle of a climate emergency right now.
It's not just causing untold human suffering, but also ever-growing economic costs. As the losses pile up, will insurers be able to cope with the damage?
Let's see. Well, I don't know. Let's see. What are some common arguments? What are some common arguments that climate change is not happening? Natural climate variability, temperature data fluctuations, data manipulation, urban heat island effect, natural factors, historical climate changes such as the medieval warm period or the Little Ice Age, as evidence that recent warming is not unusual. However, these historical events had different causes and regional effects. Climate models uncertainty. Climate models are uncertain and unreliable. Economic or political motives, such as carbon taxes or renewable energy investments. They claim that scientists and policymakers have a vested interest in exaggerating climate change. Scientific consensus strongly supports this, but I don't know.
there's always going
Let's continue with this.
to be 1,000 bing bongs on Twitter talking shit about climate change, but the people whose actual job it is to predict risk are saying climate change is just number 1. And number 3.
I don't know if people are bing bongs or anything. I just feel like people have like different opinions and stances and stuff, and they have like different things informing them and stuff. So I don't know if it's necessarily like that, but
Every scientific community in every country in the world agrees that climate change is dangerous, and we have a
we just pause this and just take a look at all this real quick. Australia, Science Council of Japan, Slovenians, Serbian, American foresters, biologists, Soil Science of America.
limited amount of time to stop it. All of them. These are not political, they're not partisan, they're just scientists in their science labs doing science shit. They're pouring beakers into smaller beakers, they're looking at air, and they're using computers. They are not in cahoots. In fact, they're actively trying to prove each other wrong because that's how you get to the top of the science community.
Punch the line!
Think about it. There are literal trillions of dollars in funding waiting for the first scientist who can prove climate change is a hoax. Don't you think it's a little weird that no one has come forward with the evidence? What are you doing? Hey, I'm talking to you. Did you poop here? Oh, okay, mature. Real mature.
Okay, so scientific consensus, NASA's take, do scientists agree on climate change? Yes, 97% agree humans are causing global warming and climate change. Most of the leading science organizations around the world have issued public statements, including international, U.S., United Nations, a whole host of other reputable scientific bodies around the world. Temperature anomaly since the 1880s.
American goose. So yes, a few extra carbon dioxide molecules in the atmosphere cooking a planet seems counterintuitive, but so does using electrified liquid crystals on a supercomputer the size of an Eggo waffle to watch a guy talk about climate change, yet here we are. We ask science to figure out things for us all the time, and they've figured out climate change so hard that even the companies with a financial interest in denying it have gotten on board. It's good to be skeptical, and it's stupid to blindly follow authority. But it's not exactly smart to get all your information from memes and some guy on Facebook. So just ask yourself this: what's more likely? That a shadowy cabal of all the climate scientists, economists, oil companies, and insurance firms in the world are involved in a 100-year conspiracy that's only ever been found out by an intrepid handful of uncles with a tenuous grasp on Photoshop? Or that email you just got that was the subject line forward, you gotta see this climate change hoax might not have been completely trustworthy.
What seems more likely?
And that's it. Was that 2 minutes?
3 minutes.
Oh, way over. Okay, sorry. Thank you for watching if you got this far. If you want to send this to somebody who might be a skeptic, I think that would be good. Obviously, I'm not going to convince everybody, but if I can get 6 people to do a little Googling, that's probably worth it. Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's a good stance. Like, I'm not here to necessarily, like, tell someone what to believe or, you know, hopefully they can reach their own conclusions themselves or whatever. But, you know, like, feel free to look around the data yourself, look around the information yourself, and try to learn about it. And I don't know. Hopefully this makes sense. Still have this image here. Let me see. Oh, whoops. What are some effective methods of proving the existence of climate change to people who are skeptical of the climate change hoax? Share scientific consensus, use credible sources, use sea change rise, use social influencers, engage in dialogue with respect and empathy, open and constructive conversations, avoid confrontational or accusatory language, appear to share values such as family, health, economic stability, or a love of nature, offer solutions. So, share scientific consensus. Over 97% of actively publishing climate scientists agree that climate change is real. Use credible sources such as NASA, the IPCC, the World Meteorological Organization. Share temperature trends, highlight extreme weather events, sea level rise, glacier and ice cap retreat, sea level rise, climate change. What is it doing to science?
Picture a map of Florida, with its long sandy beaches and wetlands, or cities like New York, Venice, and Alexandria, all metropolises with some pretty watery boundaries. Now, try to picture what these might look like in 100 years. The Sunshine State might look very different than it does today. The same goes for Manhattan Island or Mumbai. This is our best guess of a warmer future, one where sea levels are gnawing away at the corners of our carefully drawn maps. Coastal cities are first in line for big changes, and some that can afford it are gearing up to spend billions to make sure they survive.
You might think of the great ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctica as giant banks of freezers. And we're running down those rows of freezers, unplugging them.
That's Ben Strauss, CEO and Chief Scientist of Climate Central. They're a nonprofit organization that researches and reports on climate change, including sea level rise. Researchers like Ben have concluded that the world is guaranteed to see 4 feet of sea level rise just based on greenhouse gases we've already put into the atmosphere.
Once we unplug a freezer, it's unplugged. You can't plug it back in, and it's going to melt.
That's pretty scary, especially if you live on a coast. And according to the UN, more than 600 million people live in coastal areas that are less than 30 feet above sea level. And any amount of further emissions will cause sea levels to rise higher, with scientists like Ben expecting a rise of 10 to 20 feet or more. Some coastal areas are already struggling. During some high tides in Miami, water already slides across city streets. This is happening now, and it's a physical sign of rising sea levels.
There are already neighborhoods in the United States that I know about where real estate value has evaporated because floods that used to be rare or non-existent now happen multiple times a year. It's a block here or a block there, but it's really affecting people.
Climate Central created a visualizer called Surging Seas to drive this point home. It shows how coastal cities will fare as the climate heats up. Look at New York, New Orleans, Shanghai, or Lagos, and you'll see how melting ice could push shorelines inland. It's one of a few projects online that are designed to make the threat feel immediate.
I think climate change tends to be such an abstract and distant-seeming problem for most people. We want to make it as real and personal as possible. People being able to look up their
Yeah, you just got to be able to see it. Surging Seas, I guess, is what it's called. Climate Central. Risk zone map. Here's New York City. Pretty big city. Wow, just from 5 to 6 just changes it that much already. 7 is like that. Oh, that's the airport. Oh no. Then this is already, wow, look at all that. 8, 9, 10. Wow, that whole area. Surging Seas. Let's see. New York City stats. Below 6 feet, 220,000 people live on exposed land. Wow, 97% multi-year likelihood of a flood of 6 feet or more above current high tide line. Wow. 28% likelihood of 6 feet or more above current high tide line. And by 2030, 28% in the next 7 years. That's 1 out of 4. That's really likely. Oh man. It's not even like 100%, and it's still pretty likely that could cause a huge number of problems. Let's look at Miami. Okay, 4.6% by 2050. 4%. Still, there's places where it is pretty severe, though. Related places. Anyway.
Own neighborhood, their own home helps to do that.
Here in New York, the sea level is actually rising faster than in lots of other parts of the country. We did a whole video about it. Anyway, earlier this year, the city unveiled an ambitious plan to keep the lower part of Manhattan safe.
I often said after Sandy, you don't find a lot of climate change deniers in New York City.
They plan to fortify the city and may actually build out land into the East River by 50 to 100 feet. It's not the first time that New York has reclaimed land from water, but prior expansions were mostly done to increase living space. This one will be to keep the water away from our living rooms. The plan will cost an estimated $10 billion.
We can't overstate the disruption that it would cause to take no action, so we absolutely have to act.
Janie Bavishi is the director of the Mayor's Office of Resiliency. Her team collaborated on
Climate change isn't real. Everyone says that the Earth is heated up by 2 degrees for the past 100 years.
a big study that looked into the climate risks faced by Lower Manhattan.
So we didn't just look at sea level rise and storm surge, but we also looked at intense precipitation and extreme heat. Across the city, we're taking steps to address these multiple hazards and multiple risks that we face from climate change.
For anyone living near the coast, sea level rise presents problems. But for cities, the issues are really unique.
Imagine water pouring into the streets on a regular basis just during high tide. You open your door and you walk into a street filled with water. It would impact underground infrastructure that we rely on. Imagine subway tunnels getting flooded on a regular basis, or the foundations of buildings corroding.
In addition to building out into the river, the city plans to install floodgates at critical places that would flip up in a flood to keep water out of low-lying land.
Oh, wow.
But for now, these plans are still just concepts. They aren't even sure how they'll pay for it yet. But private funding is still on the table.
We're not planning for development, but that also depends on whether or not we're able to get funding from the federal government. We'll have to figure out how to finance this. If funding doesn't come from the federal government, then development might be part of the solution.
Wandering around Lower Manhattan, it's spooky to think about how dramatically climate change could redraw these city blocks. And it's obvious that one threatened area here is driving a lot of the urgency: Wall Street.
So Lower Manhattan is an economic center of the city. 1 in 10 jobs are located in Lower Manhattan. 75% of subway lines go through Lower Manhattan. So we know that we need to protect Lower Manhattan in order to protect the economic vitality of New York City.
But in a lot of places in the US alone, extreme preventative measures like New York's are out of reach. 2 communities, one in Alaska and another in Louisiana, are relocating to get away from rapidly eroding coasts. And a 2018 study found that as many as 311,000 houses in the United States will be vulnerable to chronic flooding by 2045. In other words, climate migration is already a reality. And policymakers here in New York want to avoid the chaos that could come from displacing a city of almost 9 million people.
You can't just pick up and move a city very easily. And because cities are such important concentrations of human lives and economic activity, I think we will invest a great deal in defending them. I don't expect us to be trying to move Manhattan. I expect us to be defending it as vigorously as we can.
We might not have as much time to build out the barricades as you might think. While most projections focus on 2100, it's not like sea levels will wait to 2099 to suddenly attack. Water will trickle in slowly, seeping into our lives and disrupting infrastructure, property values, and coastlines in the process. It won't be sudden, but it will be fast.
It's the speed of change that I think is the most dangerous thing about it. A bullet isn't dangerous if I'm holding it in my hand or throwing it at you. It's the speed of the bullet that makes it dangerous. It's the speed of climate change and sea level rise which are going to make them dangerous.
If you want to learn more about sea level rise, including why it doesn't rise at the same rate in all places, check out our other video. And don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.
Oh boy. Just when I thought I'd never be able to afford to move closer to the beach, I find out I don't have to. Jeez. Oh boy, stressful. I don't like this music. The vibes are off.
As the climate changes, we hear so many stories about places in crisis from extreme weather, and many of those places are in the news over and over again.
So we began to wonder, where will it be safe to live in 10, 30, or even 150 years? We asked 6 scientists this question, and let's just say,
well, there are really no safe places, right?
But as we dug deeper in our conversations about climate migration, each expert helped us understand where and why people will move in the future. And as it turns out, when multiple environmental risks are weighed together, a prediction about the least risky place to live in the United States is actually possible. At the end of our episode, we're going to call the government of the least risky county in the United States and see what they think about this and if they're prepared. So stay with us, and if you like this kind of science-based perspective on extreme weather, climate change, and how to prepare, give us a like, subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments below.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, this town must be pretty excited.
First, let's start by looking at the most basic part of climate change, which we know is that global temperatures are rising.
We spoke to 2 different experts who collaborated on a study exploring what they call the human climate niche. And it turns out that humans prefer to live where the average annual temperature is between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
If you picture a band in North America running from roughly Chicago or Boston in the north on over to Seattle, and then down to, roughly say Atlanta, it takes up most of the mid-continent of North America and almost all of the West Coast. And the surprising thing to me as an archaeologist is that humans have had that temperature preference for as far back as we can easily go in the archaeological record. That's to say back to about 5,000–6,000 years ago. People have always been concentrated within that temperature band.
The 1 degree of global warming we've experienced hasn't caused mass migration in the US just yet. Phoenix is one of the fastest growing and hottest places in the US, but we know the world is getting hotter.
If you look at 3 degrees centigrade warmer world, you find that we could have 3 billion people in a 3 degrees C warmer world living at average temperatures above what's experienced by pretty much anyone anywhere on the planet today, bar a few spots in the Sahara. And I don't think that those 3 billion people would necessarily choose to stay in those kind of extraordinary climate conditions if they had the choice to leave. And that then raises the obvious question of, are they going to come and live with us, inverted commas, and are we going to welcome them in?
Ken Caldera put it in even more specific terms when thinking about temperature and where we'll be comfortable in the future.
The temperature bands move.
Yeah, they're getting into climate migration and climate refugees and stuff, and like how we're gonna handle that. We already don't handle refugees and migration and stuff very well now, but we're gonna face even more of it during this climate crisis. So
I think they're moving something like 30 feet a day. So if you wanted to stay in the same temperature, you need to move 30 feet northward a day. 10 years, you'd on average have to move 20 miles north.
Temperature is important, but I don't think temperature alone is likely to be the first factor to cause climate migration in the US. It seems likely that climate migration will be caused by a mix of factors. Astrid Caldas with the Union of Concerned Scientists put it like this.
With climate migration, people leave because they have to leave after a big disaster that there's no turning back. Their house has been destroyed. They don't have insurance. They don't have the resources. They move to be with, relatives or near relatives, or they go to a place where the cost of living is lower, where they can afford it. They just can't stay where the disaster hit, right?
And climate migration is already happening. Wildfires, hurricanes, and rising temperatures are pushing people to move. As temperatures across the Arctic rise, many Alaskan Native communities have been forced to relocate. And after the Camp Fire burned down over 11,000 homes in Paradise, survivors scattered all across California and the U.S.
The actual boundaries of Earth's land are going to be changing. As our seas rise, we're no longer going to have the same land available to us as was before. And as we lose that ice from the Greenland ice sheet, it actually shows up most strongly at places far away from Greenland. People in, for example, the Gulf Coast of the US are feeling the influences of losing ice. This is causing sea level rise, which includes coastal erosion, salt water from the ocean getting into freshwater resources on the coast. We can also experience flooding not just along the coastal edge of the continent, but also further inland because rising ocean waters can change our groundwater.
So clearly the least risky places are not oceanfront.
Many of the places most at risk of sea level rise will see more hurricanes, and the South will likely get too hot.
We spoke to another expert about an extreme event that causes an increase in climate migration every year: wildfires and the smoke they produce.
In California, a lot of insurance companies are canceling people's homeowners insurance because of the risk of fire. Folks are having to buy a secondary insurance that is cost prohibitive for a number of individuals. It's basically like 5 times the rate of typical homeowners insurance.
So areas with high wildfire risk.
There's like the reiteration of like the point made by in the Raleigh Williams video on the Climate Town was like insurance companies are pricing it in, so it's actually pricing people out, so that's causing migration. It's also this sea level rises affecting things, so that's just like that company. Surging seas is also a factor, so wow.
Basically like 5 times the rate.
High wildfire risks are out. Actually, John was a part of a study that used 6 risk criteria to rank the climate risk level of every county in the US. We discussed a few of these factors already in extreme heat, sea level changes, and wildfire danger. The study also accounted for economic damages from rising energy costs, real estate destruction, plus low work and crop productivity. So what did they find?
The top 30 least risky counties were found in the Northwest, Michigan, Colorado, Virginia, and a high concentration in the Northeast.
And the one they rated as the least risky? Lamoille County in Vermont. We reached out to Lamoille County and asked them how aware they are of their position as a potential climate haven and how prepared they feel for an influx of climate refugees.
Well, we know it's a lovely place already. So the county as a whole, we've got somewhat less than 30,000 people. The commercial center is probably the town of Morrisville, but again, that's less than 10,000 people. We talk about climate migration a great deal in Vermont. There's been a number of media stories about people moving to Vermont to escape extreme weather on the coast or western wildfires. One of our board members right here moved here from Brooklyn after her apartment flooded after Sandy.
Our apartment flooded, so that was a wake-up call, I think, and we literally ran for the hills. We packed up our life and we moved to Vermont. I'm very aware of the privilege that I had in being able to move up here.
Climate transplant. You can even say she's a climate migrant even.
Ran for the hills. We packed up being able to move up here. And when I do think of myself as a climate migrant, I say that very lightly because I was not fleeing famine. I was not fleeing war. You know, I didn't have to walk with just my clothes on my back and my family across an international border. I didn't have to live in a detention camp. You know, I got in my Toyota and I drove up here. And I do think Vermont's is making efforts to be a hospitable place to resettling refugees.
We have a lot of work to do to be ready. We have a housing shortage in Vermont, and some of our smaller towns and villages don't have the water or wastewater capacity to really develop a lot of housing.
Very eloquent speaker here. Even though this might have been sprung on her, she seems ready to talk about all this.
So we're spending a lot of time looking at how we will manage with a lot more people coming here, because we do anticipate that.
But as we look towards our future, how do we prepare ourselves to be as resilient as possible in the face of a changing climate?
So there are many different challenges that we face as the climate changes. And the best way for us both to adjust to the changes that we know are going to come, but also take the strong action needed in order to reduce the pace of change, those are all elements that require us to work together and communicate with each other and really build collaborative spaces from the local level all the way up to the international level. So I really encourage people to think not just about their physical safety, but also the kind of emotional and work spaces that we can create connections in that are really going to help us be able to face these challenges.
Have you or anyone you know moved as a result of extreme weather? Do they think of it as climate migration? And what kind of extreme weather and climate would it take for you to leave your home? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always,
Let us know in the comments. Let's get that engagement going. Wow, I came across this video July 12, 2023. The irony is that just 2 days ago, Lamoille County, Vermont suffered from severe flooding causing historic rainfall to wash out roadways and bridges in the region. Over 7 inches of rain in less than 24 hours. Really no place is free from severe weather events. The issue with Vermont is its narrow valleys. And these people are thinking pretty intense about this. Makes sense though. While my family moved to Josephine County, Oregon in 2018, we bought a 4-acre homestead with great plans. Then the summer drought fire season rolled around. Our well dried up and we had to buy water to live on the land. Breathing from the smoke of wildfires was an issue for my wife and I. The summers of 2019 and 2020 proved that we could not live in the area of Oregon that we had settled in. In the late winter/early spring of 2021, we moved to Illinois, less than a mile from Lake Michigan. The winter cold is hard on our arthritis, but survivable and we can breathe. Seems like people are already kind of moving away from California and Texas and stuff. Yeah, the daughter was screaming because the sky was literally orange. And that happened in New York also. What is the riskiest region in the US as the climate changes? Okay. Oh boy. Stream's been going on for a while. I'm getting pretty tired. I might wrap up the stream. Thanks for chilling out with me here, folks. let's try to do a raid. Who can we raid? Oh, we got an ad break. Alright, we have one raider. No worries, feel free to raid. Join for the raid, no pressure. And Shameless and Mudita. Yeah, I learned a lot today. I feel like that was productive. Yeah, feel free to hang out for next time. I know. Stay soft, stay strong, and I'll see you next time, folks. Take care. And yeah, Sean is a buddy from New York City who's into fighting games on Fridays. So yeah, feel free to send him my love, and I'll be around. All right, take it easy, folks. Bye bye.
Hey, Medita Heart, what's up? How you doing? Hey, everybody from Medita Heart Stream. Hi, my name is Sean. You can call me that. I make games. I play games.